Exclusives. Why is it that some of the best games being developed right now are only available on one system? Why are companies so against sharing their games, and how much do exclusives actually drive the sales of a console? In today's video we try and answer those questions, and this is exclusives and should they exist? Recently, it was announced by Microsoft that the Xbox Series X is launching with, and for its first year, 0 exclusive video games. The reason for this is because, and I quote, "You don't want to do that to the exclusion of everybody else, and you also want to do that hand in hand with the developers, because developers want to find the widest audience possible." Phil Spencer was the person giving this statement, and while it is a fantastic move in the right direction, it has only been announced for the first year, assuming it's going to be a trial period to see how well this actually works. Right now, Microsoft are leaning towards greatness, with the Xbox Game Pass, a subscription service providing users with an ever-changing library of games included in a very small price. They have been releasing games on other systems, and ultimately breaking down the stigma that these big companies have been plagued with regards to limiting the development of hardware and therefore slowing down the advancement of the gaming industry. Everybody should be able to play the same games, regardless of what system they play on. And what Microsoft has come out with is such good news for the industry, and will be interesting to see what Sony will react with when they are ready to release more information regarding the PlayStation 5. Sony have been against sharing close to anything regarding their systems. They have only just recently allowed developers to make their games cross-platform, at the developer's discretion. Sony last year planned on teaming up with Xbox to develop a unified cloud service to counter other companies like Google and Amazon. Games like Death Stranding has been removed from the PlayStation exclusives section of their website and has been confirmed to release on PC sometime in the summer of 2020, which is all great news. I play primarily on PC, so we have the luxury of a lot of popular games and large games coming to our systems. We already have a lot of games that are very much exclusive to PC, and some of the biggest games out right now are only exclusive to PC. Why are these games that completely dominate the streaming and video game market only accessible on these systems? There are two reasons for this. Firstly, it's expensive to develop a game for consoles. When you look at the majority of games developed on console, other than the obvious Battlefields, Call of Duties, etc., the smaller games are all developed by developers paid by the company to make the game. Secondly, when you take a look at a game like PUBG and how much of a great success it was, and how long it took them to get the game on a playable standard on Xbox. This is purely because the console couldn't really and still can't successfully run the game. Take a look at most games on Xbox. I was playing Sea of Thieves the other day, a game developed by Rare, who are owned almost entirely by Microsoft. There are frequent pop-in issues, respawn times are almost 2 minutes long, and spawn times are even longer. And please don't mistake my words for hate, this is entirely constructive. And the PlayStation 4 suffers from the same problem. The games struggle to hit 30, especially in the normal PS4, and therefore controlling, aiming and shooting, even driving is made much more difficult. Exclusives aren't even damaging for the opposing systems. In most cases, they are even damaging their own market. Take Death Stranding. Now, I am waiting for the PC release of this game, but by Joves do I wish that it would come to a better state that it was released on PlayStation. Now I personally own a PlayStation, and I got it primarily to play Death Stranding. I love Hideo Kojima, I've been interested since day one, and have followed it up until the release, until I saw the launch. Now besides from personal gripes about the gameplay etc, this game looks great. However, for a game that doesn't really have much going on at one given time, the PlayStation really struggles to handle the game at a frame rate more than 25. This and many other reasons is something that annoyed a lot of people. And regardless of how good a game may be, if it doesn't work, then you can't really enjoy it. Going back to PC however, and you have a whole scope of games available, from indie games to huge games like CSGO, Dota, Diablo to name a few. These games have yet to appear on consoles, and while you could argue that they wouldn't quite work on a console, it would still be great for everybody to experience these games that clearly people love, as on the Steam charts they are played all the time, and even on Twitch people lap it up like a cat does cream. It's a shame that companies also do timed exclusivity deals. To say Rockstar was heavily criticised for games like GTA and Red Dead would be a huge understatement. They release these widely anticipated games on consoles first, and then years later release it on another platform. While I get this move is better for them financially, as people not only get the game once but twice when it comes out on their preferred platform, it also messes around with the real fan base. adding gimmicks like first-person modes or specific packages where you get in-game currency. Furthermore, with game modes like survival mode for Modern Warfare, releasing later this year for Xbox and PC, 1 whole year from release originally, really doesn't do well for the image of a company. While some people may argue that it's only a mode that no one really cares too much for, the fact that it was available upon release if you happen to own a PlayStation really tickles us all the wrong way. In conclusion, it appears that Xbox and PlayStation alike are in fact leaning away from exclusives in the form of games. However, more needs to be done to include everyone. We are all gamers, and if we're all paying the same amount of money as everyone else, or willing to, the content should be available to everyone. All I can say is that I hope that in the next year or so, we will all be playing the same games and even all together with cross-platform. If you want to see my video on cross-platform, tap here, and if you like this video, please subscribe as it helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.